My name is Lila, and I've always been the one who holds things together. Growing up in a tight-knit family of 6, I was the middle child, the peacemaker, the one who made sure everyone got a slice of pie at Thanksgiving. My parents owned a small flower shop in our coastal town, and I spent my summers arranging bouquets, tying ribbons, and chatting with customers about their weddings or funerals. It was humble work, but it taught me patience, care, and the value of a dollar. I loved the way flowers could say what words couldn't, and I dreamed of turning that love into something bigger, a floral design business of my own. At 27, I took the leap. I moved to a bustling city, rented a tiny storefront with peeling paint, and opened Lila's Blooms. It wasn't much, just a counter, a cooler for flowers, and a chalkboard sign I'd painted myself, but it was mine. I poured my savings into it, every cent from years of waitressing and side gigs. My family cheered me on, my mom sending me her old recipe for rosewater spray, my dad calling to remind me to lock up at night. I worked 16-hour days, sourcing flowers from local farms, designing arrangements for small events, and handing out flyers to anyone who'd take one. Slowly, the shop grew. Brides started booking me for weddings, cafes ordered weekly centerpieces, and my Instagram filled with photos of my work, vibrant, heartfelt bouquets that made people smile. That's when I met Sophia, my cousin. She was 3 years older, the daughter of my dad's brother, and we hadn't seen much of each other since we were kids. She moved to the city years ago, chasing a life of glitz I never understood. Sophia was striking, long blonde hair, sharp cheekbones, and a wardrobe that screamed money, though I wasn't sure where it came from. She showed up at my shop one day, unannounced, holding a latte and wearing sunglasses indoors. "Lila, darling," she said, hugging me like we were best friends, "this place is adorable." Her voice was warm, but her eyes scanned the shop like she was pricing it. Sophia said she'd fallen on hard times, a bad breakup, a failed modeling gig, and needed family. She asked to stay with me for a bit, promising to help with the shop. I didn't have much space, just a cramped apartment above Lila's Blooms, but I couldn't say no. Family was family, and I remembered her as the cousin who'd braided my hair at summer barbecues. Besides, I was swamped with orders and could use the help. So I let her in, gave her my pull-out couch, and taught her the basics: trimming stems, arranging filler greens, handling walk-in customers. At first, Sophia was a godsend. She had a knack for charming clients, her confidence smoothing over my shyness. She'd flirt with grooms-to-be, flatter brides, and upsell them on extra roses or baby's breath. Business picked up, and I was grateful. I paid her a small wage, shared my takeout dinners, and ignored the way she'd leave dishes in the sink or borrow my clothes without asking. "We're building something, Lila," she'd say, snapping selfies with my bouquets. I believed her. I wanted to. But little things started to nag at me. Sophia would take long breaks, disappearing for errands, and coming back with new shoes or a manicure. She'd complain about the early mornings, saying floral work was beneath her, but she was doing it for me. Money from the register went missing, small amounts at first, $20 here, $50 there. She'd blame it on miscounting, or a customer must have shorted us. I didn't want to accuse her, so I started double-checking the books myself, staying up late to balance receipts. My gut told me something was wrong, but I pushed it down. She was family. The trouble escalated when I landed a big contract, a gala for a local charity, their biggest event of the year. It was my chance to put Lila's Blooms on the map. The budget was huge, enough to cover my rent for months, and the exposure could bring in corporate clients. I spent weeks planning, sketching centerpieces with orchids and peonies, meeting with the event planner, Clara, to nail every detail. Sophia wanted in, insisting she could handle the client's side. I hesitated, she'd been flaky lately, but she begged, saying she needed this to feel useful. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Big mistake. Sophia started meeting with Clara without me, claiming she was streamlining things. She'd come back with vague updates, saying Clara wanted more pizzazz or bigger arrangements. I trusted her to relay the details, but my costs skyrocketed. Rare flowers, imported vases, gold-dipped leaves Sophia swore were non-negotiable. I dipped into my savings to cover it, working late to keep up with regular orders. When I asked to see Clara's emails, Sophia waved me off. "Don't micromanage, Lila," she snapped. "I've got this." The gala was a week away when I found the first clue. I was cleaning the shop, sweeping under Sophia's desk, and found a crumpled receipt from a high-end boutique. It was for a $600 dress, paid in cash, dated the day $200 went missing from the register. My heart sank. I confronted her that night, holding the receipt. She laughed it off, saying it was an old purchase, but her eyes darted to the door. I didn't buy it. I started digging, checking the shop's bank account, cross-referencing orders, looking at Sophia's client notes. What I found made my blood run cold. Sophia had been skimming from the gala budget. She'd inflated invoices, pocketing the difference, and ordered cheaper flowers than what I'd budgeted for, swapping peonies for carnations and passing them off as premium. Worse, she'd set up a side deal with a shady supplier, taking kickbacks for subpar stock. The charity's contract, which I'd signed, promised high-end arrangements, but Sophia's receipts showed we'd deliver half the quality at double the cost. If Clara found out, I'd be ruined. Sued, blacklisted, my reputation trashed. I felt sick. This wasn't just theft, it was sabotage. Sophia, my own cousin, had used my trust to line her pockets, risking everything I'd built. I wanted to scream, to throw her out, but I held it in. The gala was days away, and I had to save my business. The anger burned, but it sharpened my focus. Sophia thought she could play me, but she'd underestimated how hard I'd fight for what was mine. I got to work. First, I cut Sophia out of the loop. I told her I was taking over the gala prep to ease her stress, stroking her ego to keep her from suspecting. She didn't argue. She was too busy planning her next shopping spree. Then I called Clara, apologizing for miscommunications and confirming every detail of the contract. Clara was confused but grateful, unaware of Sophia's scam. I worked around the clock, sourcing new flowers from my trusted farms, eating the cost to replace the cheap stock Sophia had ordered. My hands bled from thorns, my eyes burned from lack of sleep, but I rebuilt every arrangement to match my original vision: lush, elegant, worthy of the gala. Next, I gathered evidence. I saved every fake invoice, every kickback receipt, every text Sophia had sent to her supplier. I photographed the subpar flowers she'd planned to use, comparing them to my new stock. I even found her backup bank account, where she'd stashed the stolen cash, by logging into her laptop when she left it open. It was meticulous, undeniable proof of her greed. The gala was my stage. The venue was stunning: crystal chandeliers, velvet drapes, and tables set for 500 guests. My arrangements stole the show: orchids cascading over gold vases, peonies glowing under candlelight. Clara pulled me aside, tears in her eyes. "Lila, this is perfect," she said. "You've made our night unforgettable." The charity's director, Mr. Evans, announced my work to the crowd, calling Lila's blooms a treasure. Phones flashed, tagging my shop on social media. By morning, my inbox was flooded with inquiries. Sophia was there too, sipping champagne in her boutique dress, acting like she'd earned it. I let her enjoy the moment. After the gala, I invited her to the shop for a celebration. She showed up, expecting praise, but instead I laid out the evidence: receipts, invoices, bank statements, all printed and neatly stacked. Her face went white. "Lila, you don't understand," she started, but I cut her off. "I trusted you," I said, my voice steady. "You stole from me, from my business, from people who trusted us. You're done." I told her I'd give her one chance to leave the city, or I'd send the evidence to Clara, the charity, and our family. I'd also report her to the theft. Sophia's mask slipped, her charm replaced by panic. She'd be humiliated, maybe worse. She begged, cried, but I wasn't moved. She'd seen my kindness as weakness, and that was her biggest mistake. She left that night, her suitcase half-packed, no forwarding address. I heard from my uncle later. She'd spun some tale of a new opportunity out of state, but our family knew the truth. They rallied around her, my mom sending me long voicemails. "We're so sorry, Lila." My shop's name stayed clean, my reputation stronger than ever. The gala's success landed me corporate contracts, and Lila's blooms became the city's go-to for high-end events. I hired a real assistant, a quiet girl named Emma who loved flowers as much as I did, and moved to a new apartment, one with a balcony for herb pots and a view of the skyline. The revenge wasn't loud or cruel. It was watching. It was Sophia's face when she realized she'd lost everything. It was the gala's applause, the new orders flooding in, the knowledge that I'd turned her greed into my triumph. And it was sweet, Sweeter than any bouquet, because I'd fought for it, my dream, my way, and I'd never let anyone steal it again.